Trump, thank you. And for Maduro, I hope you're getting the same sale with Didi.
We have to show the whole world that Venezuela is happy that the regime is over.
We're also seeing that there's people out here supporting Maduro. They should be looking at us and supporting us, not.
I came in this country when I was 10 years old, and ever since I was born, every single person in power of the country has abused us and abused of their power. We have been living in a dictatorship for about 20 years.
Oh my God, Venezuelans are celebrating. It's only leftists and liberals that are upset that Maduro was captured.
To all the Venezuelans celebrating the capture of Nicolas Maduro, don't get so excited just yet. Now, I feel like most of us can agree that Nicolas Maduro was not the best person. Most Venezuelans do not support this man.
Hello good people, welcome to African Commentary. Here we learn and grow every day. If you are new here, kindly consider subscribing, liking and sharing the videos. I will really appreciate. So today I want us to talk about the Venezuelans and their president Nicolas Maduro. I mean, like, they were very overjoyed after his capture, and this just triggered something in me. I'm like, I want to talk about it from a point of leadership, from a point of how leaders run their country, how they serve their people. You know, for citizens to celebrate when their leader is captured or maybe after his death, it really shows how this leader was a bad leader to the people, because when you give love to your people, they will show you love back. But when you give them suffering, when you make them go through a lot, they will rejoice after your capture or when something happens to you. So before I speak much, let's watch some videos and then I'm going to give my 2 cents at the end. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Also share your comments in the comment section down below. I will really appreciate.
Trump, thank you. And for Maduro, I hope you're getting the same sale with Didi.
We have to show the whole world that Venezuela is happy that the regime is over.
We're also seeing that there's people out here supporting Maduro. They should be looking at us and supporting us, not supporting the man who has been destroying our country and repressing our people for the last few years.
If you want to know something about Venezuela, you should ask a Venezuelan.
Venezuela!
What do we want?
Freedom!
We'll tell you the truth about our story and how much we hate and despite Nicolas Maduro.
I can't even believe that they're doing that. They must not know 20% of what he has done. Not even. Half of them got their own flag. I'm sure none of them can point out Caracas in a map.
It's easy to speak the communists, the socialists in the United States, where your shoes is Timberland, where your phone is iPhone, where your jacket is Tommy Hilfiger. You can go from Venezuela, come on. I go for American Airlines, I pay you your ticket.
Maduro had multiple opportunities to leave power peacefully. He's an indicted criminal, he's a narco-terrorist, and the United States was doing a law enforcement operation.
With Trump running the government, it's necessary, honestly, because we can't keep the same people that were destroying our country still there.
I hope there is a bipartisan effort and an international alliance that will guarantee a peaceful transition in Venezuela. I know a lot of countries, both in Europe and in Latin America, and are interested in a democratic Venezuela, and I hope they... Right, you see, I don't agree with that.
That oil hasn't been ours for the past 27 years. It's been owned by Russia, it's been owned by China, it's been owned by Cuba, by Iran.
The only people that have benefit from oil in Venezuela are the oligarchs that are allies of Nicolas Maduro. I hope that once our country is free, we get to enjoy the benefits of oil again. But for the past 20 years, we haven't. I care about our people being free again, our families having food, our hospitals having medicine, and our kids being able to go to school, which they're not right now.
My family's still in Venezuela, and I've been looking forward to this day for so many years. Thank you, President Trump.
I'm so happy because now Venezuela is free.
People have been gathering to celebrate the fall of Nicolas Maduro. Many of the people here told me they fled Venezuela either during Maduro's regime or during that of his predecessor, Hugo Chavez. Behind me, you'll see people chanting. Just a few moments ago, they were chanting, "It's fallen, it's fallen, the regime has fallen." The mood here is absolutely ecstatic.
Right now, you are seeing Venezuelans from around the world celebrating the capture of their dictator, Nicolas Maduro. Here you see them tearing down a banner with his face on it. Venezuelans in Miami celebrating this capture, and thousands upon thousands getting together over this historic moment in Venezuela. For Venezuelans, this is the most freedom they've had since Maduro came into power back in 2013. Local reporters say that a guy named Edgar says that his chest feels like it's about to explode with joy. While Venezuelans are celebrating, they're also FaceTiming family still in Venezuela, making sure they're okay, because there is still so much uncertainty about what happens next. After Nicolas Maduro's capture and all the celebrations, it's very clear that Venezuelans have wanted this for a very long time.
Yeah, come celebrate with us. We love everybody because you, America, has loved us so much. So much. Thank you, America.
One thing is for sure, Donald Trump is truly changing the world, and now Venezuelans have a brighter future that they can look forward to.
So this is Nicolas Maduro, and right now online you're probably seeing a lot of people saying, I stand with Venezuela. Some of them are even saying that they're standing with this guy and they're against his illegal kidnapping. And the question that should be asked to all of these people is, what exactly are you standing with and standing for? Nicolas Maduro is not some misunderstood populist leader. He is the head, and not supposed to be the head. He's an illegal leader of one of the most corrupt, repressive regimes in the entire Western Hemisphere, and that did not happen overnight. You see, Nicolas Maduro didn't win power. He inherited power after Hugo Chavez, and then he systematically rigged the system to keep it. Oh, I stand with Venezuela. Okay, so you should stand with the people of Venezuela who want him gone. The elections under Maduro have internationally been condemned time and time again. He has barred opposition candidates, he has shut down aspects of the media, and he has packed the courts with loyalists to him. People question the vote totals, and he has just parallel institutions that have been created to override democratic outcomes. He has shifted Venezuela from a democracy to an authoritarian state. Instead of stepping down and stepping aside when he lost, he just rewrote the rules to keep himself in power. Maduro's regime has also aligned itself with America's biggest adversaries. Iran, which has helped Venezuela evade sanctions and expand security cooperation, Russia, which props up the regime military and financially, and China, which extracted resources and leverage while Venezuela collapsed. Also Hezbollah, which United States officials say has operated networks inside of Venezuela under their regime protection. They don't have a neutral foreign policy approach. They have a hostile alignment to America and the Western Hemisphere. Meanwhile, what is happening to the ordinary Venezuelans? Well, 25 years ago, Venezuela was one of the wealthiest countries in Latin America. It had the largest proven oil reserves in the world, which it still has over Saudi Arabia. It had a functioning middle class, and it had regional influence. Under Maduro, their economy imploded. They have hyperinflation that has wiped out everyone's savings. Food and medicine have become scarce. Millions have fled the country. I believe 7 million people have left the country, not because of the sanctions on Venezuela, but because the state destroyed private enterprise. They seized all of the industries and mismanaged oil production, and they looted all of the public funds. We've seen hospitals collapse. We have seen power grids fail. We have seen malnutrition skyrocket. We have seen political dissent be met with arrest, torture, and in some cases, killings. Human rights organizations have documented extrajudicial killings. They have documented political prisoners, forced disappearances, and the silencing of many journalists. And what bothers me the most about all of these people saying Venezuela has a right to defend itself, I stand with Venezuela, oh, they illegally kidnapped Maduro, the Venezuelans themselves don't support this guy. So when you say that you're standing with Venezuela, you're standing with U.S. military action, which over 60% of Venezuelans who fled Venezuela said needs to be taken to topple his regime. Also, over 60% of Venezuelans don't see him as the rightful political leader. Poll after poll has shown overwhelming opposition to his rule.
Oh my God, Venezuelans are celebrating. It's only leftists and liberals that are upset that Maduro was captured. I would like to kindly jog everyone's memory because I know how forgetful we can be when it comes to history. So the year is 2003 and the U.S. invades Iraq. And Iraqis are celebrating because they hate Saddam Hussein. So they welcome U.S. invasion. They are in the streets celebrating.
People were just pure exhilaration. At that point in time, you think this might just work. And I remember seeing a guy was carrying a huge couch on his back. And he turns and says, "Yay, America."
The U.S. invades Iraq under the pretense that Saddam Hussein is harboring nuclear weapons, which, by the way, they never find. And between the years of 2003 to 2011, America kills over 1 million Iraqi people. The country becomes a failed state. And if you speak to Iraqis today, they will tell you how they have deep resentment towards the United States. The country that they once welcomed becomes the country that they deeply hate and resent, and rightfully so. Soon as the U.S. leaves Iraq, the country then goes into the hands of ISIS, the terrorist organization. You see, it's very easy to start a war. It's very easy to take out a dictator. It's very easy to bring down a regime. These are things that I will never argue that America is not good at. America is great at these things, but it's incredibly difficult to end a war. It's incredibly difficult to establish a new government that brings stability to a nation. To install a new government, to bring stability to a nation, you have to create infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals. That costs money, and America is not in the business of charity, okay? America spent $2.7 trillion in Iraq, U.S. taxpayer dollars. Where did that money go? Private military contractors. So when people are like, Venezuelans are celebrating, why can't you just be happy for them? My response isn't, oh, I must be wrong. My response is, I have seen this before. I don't just remember history, I lived through this history. And you can't say that we as Americans don't get to have an opinion on what happens in Venezuela when it's going to be our tax dollars that goes into creating violence and instability in Venezuela. Just like that $2.7 trillion that went to creating instability in Iraq was U.S. taxpayer dollars. The last thing I want to say is that despite being critical of many different governments, I do not ever call for regime change in Iran, China, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, etc. because I don't have to deal with the consequences of what that would look like. That would be the total collapse of a system. Do you understand what I mean? Industries would collapse, currency would collapse, instability would immediately take over. I don't know how people feel so comfortable talking about regime change. Even if you live in diaspora, you don't have the right to call for regime change. And I wish people would be more sensitive to that.
So Venezuelans are celebrating the fall of Maduro. What they don't realize is that Libyans celebrated the fall of Gaddafi. Iraqis celebrated the fall of Saddam. But none of them are celebrating right now. In fact, the vast majority of people in Libya are saying that if they could go back to the Libya under Gaddafi, they will do anything to go back to how life used to be.
Now you would take Gaddafi back?
أنا قتلت في جبهة زنتان في جبهة بن وليد ضد قدافي. Now كان في قدافي أنا في قاتل مع قدافي.
Right now, Libya is a failed state. There is no real government going on there. There is an open slave trade. People are being sold, literally, slave trade, which has now caused an uptick of people who are migrating from North Africa on boats going to Europe. But most of the people who are celebrating this are not people who are inside Venezuela. These are people who are on exile, people who were kicked out by Maduro, or people who left because they didn't like Maduro. So it makes sense why they're celebrating this. There are still some inside Venezuela who are celebrating this as well. And if they think that the United States has their interest at heart, they're about to find out.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
As we speak, Donald Trump is saying that the United States is going to run Venezuela. They are putting out a team which is going to control what happens in Venezuela. And they're also putting out a team of oil explorers and oil companies who are going to go there, check the infrastructure, check if it can be fixed so that they can quickly start pumping that oil out as much as possible.
They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping.
So this already tells you these people were not there for drugs, and these people also don't give a damn about what is going on inside that country when it comes to the well-being of the citizens. But yet, people are celebrating. Now, as history teaches us what happens in Libya and what happened in Iraq, now there are two ways that this thing can turn out. One can work for the United States and maybe a little bit for some people inside Venezuela. The second one would be a disaster. Now, the first one is for the United States to allow people in Venezuela to rule themselves. As we speak, the vice president has been sworn in as the president of Venezuela. So what they can do is that they can control the leadership and allow the leadership to control the country. So in that way, they never need to deploy their entire military inside the country to control it. They just control the leadership and allow the leadership to control the country. The same way that the colonizers did in Africa. What they used to do was that they would control the king and the king will control the rest of these people. So if they do that, then they don't need to get their hands dirty. They just need to use pressure and military threat to control the leadership, and that way the leadership will control the rest of the country. Now, the second way is that if the state collapses, right, the people who are in charge right now, who are handpicked by Maduro, if they are removed in power, there's going to be a power vacuum. Now, when there's a power vacuum, that's where things like ISIS starts to develop. That's when rebellions and rebel groups and terrorism and all of those things start to happen. That's where gangsterism, the same thing that happened in Haiti, starts to happen. And if that happens, even the United States will not get that untouched, because this is now happening in their region. Now, for a very long time, the United States had the ability to go and cause havoc in faraway countries like the Middle East, knowing very well that this is not going to affect them because there's an entire ocean between them and that place that they caused havoc at. They did the same thing in Libya and North Africa, knowing very well that those people are not going to make it on boats to the United States. Instead, they ended up being a problem for Europe. That's why we have now vast amount of boats which are crossing the channel from Africa to Europe. That's because the United States was involved in destabilizing North Africa. But this one is happening in their backyards. Venezuela is not that far away from the United States. So if this thing goes out of control and we have a spread of instability throughout the entire region, the United States is also going to get hit by this. But as we speak, the United States is happy with the results. Some people are celebrating the fall of Maduro. But we know from history, from geopolitical history, not even that far back, 2011 is not that far back. 2003 is not that far back when they invaded Iraq. And we know how that turned out. The United States went in, pumped out as much oil as they can. And when they realized that the cost of staying there was too high, they just left. Right now, if you look at Libya, it's a total nightmare over there. So this week, I'm going to be making a lot of videos, touching a lot of points about the impact of this thing that just happened in Venezuela. Because now this thing affects South Africa, it affects China, it affects Russia, Cuba, and everybody else who's on the opposite side of the imperialist agenda. So everyone who's part of BRICS, the Shanghai Cooperation, and everything else does get affected with these things that just happened right now in Venezuela. So please stay tuned. Please go and subscribe.
I can tell you that the majority of good people in South America are celebrating the capture of President Maduro from Venezuela. This is very, very good news.
It's not. It's not good news. No matter how bad Maduro was for the country, and no matter how much people are celebrating this is not good news. And I'm not talking about whether Maduro should or should not be president of Venezuela. I want you to set that aside for a second, because what I'm talking about is the method. This is not good news, because once you accept a standard where all it takes is for any foreign government with enough military power to say, that guy is bad about any president of any other country, to justify unilateral, unauthorized military action to capture that president and then install a makeshift government to run the country in interim. Once you accept that standard, you just accepted the far west, where anything is allowed as long as a country has enough military power. Because this is not about the good guys against the bad guys. This is about ignoring international laws of conflict because you have a military that's big enough to do it. And it's easy to prove. If that standard is acceptable, does Pakistan sending troops to capture the president of India become acceptable? What about China sending troops to the United States? Does that become acceptable? Does Colombia sending troops to remove the new Venezuelan installed government, is that acceptable? Because these are all scenarios that fall in line with your good news. Celebrating this as a good thing means celebrating lawlessness, no matter how good the end result may seem. Territorial integrity is the most sacred, untouchable right in international law. And the only lawful way to address the Maduros of the world is through international coordination. And the only lawful way to use force is through the resolution of the UN Security Council. And this is not random law. It's the law that the United States is bound to. And that law was violated when unilateral force was used to breach a country's territorial sovereignty. And what you call good news creates a very dangerous precedent that is only acceptable to you because you happen to agree with the outcome. But once that precedent is set, the outcome becomes irrelevant. So results aside, careful what you celebrate, because today's forcible removal of a despot is tomorrow's violation of your own right.
The people of Venezuela have every right to celebrate that their dictator president got snatched up and he's no longer there. You have every right to celebrate. But I need to leave you with this. This is you guys celebrating after the president dictator got snatched up. You know what's make this eerily similar to another situation that happened 20-some years before? It was when Saddam Hussein got executed and everybody started celebrating. Everybody in Iraq started celebrating. And you know what happened in Iraq? Their country ended up 15 million times worse than it was under Saddam Hussein's rule. Not saying that Saddam Hussein was a great leader or anything like that. I'm saying because the United States invaded and didn't mind their own damn business, they literally made that country, Iraq, 15 million times worse. Because we just got to have our hands in everything. And we really only went there for oil. We sat here and we act like we cared about the people in Iraq. We really just wanted their oil. We blanketed calling it the war, or the war on terrorism. It was no damn war on terrorism. They just wanted your damn oil. Bush was greedy. That's what happened. And now everyone in Iraq has been screwed for the past 25 years. And I predict the same thing is going to happen to the people in Venezuela. It's unfortunate. Again, they have every single right to celebrate and be happy because their leader was a piece of crap. But because the United States just gotta have their hand in everything and they want to blanket it as, oh, we're just helping the people in Venezuela. History is repeating itself. The people in Venezuela just don't know it yet. And American citizens are just trying to warn y'all. We've seen this happen before. It's unfortunate.
I came in this country when I was 10 years old, and ever since I was born, every single person in power of the country has abused us and abused of their power. We have been living in a dictatorship for about 20 years. So I can tell you, this feels like a breath of fresh air.
Did you feel this was the only way to get him out?
100%, yes. He will not leave. He's not the real president of Venezuela. No, it's not an act of war, it's an act of freedom.
To all the Venezuelans celebrating the capture of Nicolas Maduro, don't get so excited just yet. Now, I feel like most of us can agree that Nicolas Maduro was not the best person. Most Venezuelans do not support this man. But Venezuelans need to understand that what is coming is worse. Let me give you an example. This is Saddam Hussein. He was the president of Iraq from 1979 to 2003. And what happened in 2003? Well, the USA invaded Iraq and unalived this guy. And a lot of Iraqis were happy. They were ecstatic. They felt like there was hope once again for their country. This is Iraq now. And I'll take it a step further. There has never been an instance in history where the USA invades a country and occupies a country and the quality of life improves for the average citizen of said country. Just look at Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, I can go on, Vietnam. The US has already taken control of Venezuela's oil. Oil is the real reason why the United States invaded Venezuela. Let's not kid ourselves. And the only people who are going to benefit from this are billionaires and oil companies, not US citizens, let alone Venezuelan citizens. So if you're Venezuelan or you live in Venezuela or you know somebody who lives in Venezuela, enjoy this moment of peace because what is coming is way worse than Maduro. You're going to wish you still had Maduro, but anyways, let me know what you guys think.
President Maduro's capture has sparked a lot of mixed reactions from people, Americans, Venezuelans, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about leadership and how these leaders should learn from this whole situation. Even Trump himself should take this situation as a learning point for him, because for today it might be the Venezuelan president, but what about tomorrow? How the citizens, how the Venezuelans are celebrating their president's capture is something, so I can say to the world it's a bad thing. To them, of course, they see like it's a good thing. They're enjoying that finally they are free. But from a point of world's view, this is a very bad picture for the president, you see. For him, he might think that he was leading his people well, he was serving the country well. At this point, at this situation is when he realizes that, you know what, I didn't know people hate me this much. And this should be a learning lesson to these leaders, that you know what, whatever you're doing, people are watching, your citizens are watching. They might not have the power to do anything about it. But when the time comes for your downfall, when the time comes that you are no longer in power, that you have no power to control them, they will show you that you really did not serve them well. They will show you that they hate you that much. Many Venezuelans have lived through food shortages, medicine shortages, mass unemployment, forced migration, you see. And when they see the capture of their president, they are like, finally we can have a relief. Maybe they don't even like Trump, but they just feel that relief. It's like a burden has been removed from them, from their bags. Like they can have fresh breath, they can just settle and be at peace. Yes, we don't know what Trump is going to do. We don't know if it's a good thing for Trump to take over Venezuela, but from whatever Trump is doing right now to the Americans, I don't think it is going to be well with the Venezuelans. So for leaders, I'm here to talk about leadership. Leaders across the world need to learn from these situations. When you get that seat, when you get that power, treat your people well. Ensure that your citizens are enjoying being under you, are enjoying your service. Don't make your citizens to be full of anger, bitterness, hate towards you because of the things you're doing. So that when your downfall comes, you will have people to back you up. If you really treated your people well, if you are really a good president to them, even when you're on the wrong, they will still support you. They'll still stand up for you. But if you are treating them bad, they will never stand up for you. President Nicolas Maduro, for Venezuelans, he represents Spain. He doesn't represent a good leader, a good person who serves his people, who stands up for his people, you see. And so when he was captured, these Venezuelans felt like at least there is hope for new elections, maybe. There is hope for change. There is a chance for rebuilding their country. Don't know if his capture is a good thing for Venezuelans, and I don't know if Trump's takeover of Venezuela is a good thing. But what I'm just saying to the leaders across the world, take this as a learning lesson. Treat your citizens right so that they can stand with you even at your worst. They can be there for you. Don't treat them like they're not humans. Don't forget the promises you made before you got the seat. Don't forget that you begged for their votes and they gave it to you. But when you got the seat, you forgot about your agenda. You forgot about the promises and decided to be greedy, decided to fill your pocket, fill your family's pockets, family members' pockets, and forget about the citizens. So with that said, guys, let me know your thoughts about this. I know I'm kind of late to the news, but my point was from a leadership point. Leaders need to take a lesson from all this. You need to treat your citizens well, keep your promises, make a change in their life. Make a change in your country. Don't change them for the bad. Change your citizens for the good, for the best. At least when you leave that office, people will always talk about you. There is something that you are a legend. There is always something they will speak about you forever and ever. And that is what true leadership is. Not just carrying the name of being a president, but your actions are opposite. Your actions don't match your name. So leadership is something that you should take with your heart, not just for the greed, not just for the power, not just for the control, not just to gain access to things. No. Take leadership with passion. Take leadership with a heart of empathy. Have empathy. Know how to serve your people well. Know how to make their lives good. Make them enjoy living in that country. Don't make them feel like they want to go away. They want to flee to another country. With that said, let me know your thoughts about this whole video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and I would really appreciate. See you in the next one. Bye.